So today we're going to review ratios and proportions, and they're going to help us later on compare triangles so we can talk about them in regards to one another. So ratios and proportions are just relationships between two quantities. So first we're going to talk about ratios. So a ratio is when you have a number over a total. And we're talking about the ratio of that number compared to the total of what we're talking about. So if we have 5 out of 7 children, we have 5 over 7 because 7 is the total amount of children that we can have. So 15 to 20, we put the smaller number over the bigger total. And when we write ratios, we want to write them in simplest form. So to simplify, we're going to divide the top by 5 and the bottom by 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. So we have a ratio of 3/4. Now there's several ways to write a ratio. We can leave it as a fraction, or more commonly you'll see 3 to 4 or 3 semicolon 4. Now these all just mean that there's a 3 to 4 ratio of whatever you're talking about. Like maybe there's 3 boys for every 4 girls. Or there's 3 boys out of 4 children. Those are all ratios. So we're going to do some more examples. We have 2 to 6. So we put 2 over 6. And we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we have a 1 to 3 ratio, a 1 to 3, or a 1 out of 3. 12 out of 30. We have 12 over 30. We can divide both of these by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So we have a 2/5 ratio. So those are ratios. Now we're going to go into proportions. And a proportion is always going to be set up like this. You have a number over their number equal to a number over another number. When we solve proportions, we're trying to find out what value of x makes this proportion true. So to solve this, we're going to cross multiply. So we multiply 9 by 4 and 3 by x. So we have 3x is equal to 9 times 4. 3x and 9 times 4 is 36. So then to solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 3. And 36 divided by 3 is 12. So 3/4 is equal to 9/12. And if you were to divide this by 3 and this by 3, you would see that those are indeed true. So we're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to do 1 times 7 equals 2 times y. So 2y is equal to 1 times 7 is just 7. We divide both. We get y is equal to 7/2. So if we plug this back in, we get 1/2 is equal to 7/2 divided by 7. So if you remember our rules for dividing fractions, we keep the top, change the sign to multiplication, and flip the fraction. So we take 7/2, multiply it by 1/7. The 7's cancel, and 1/2 indeed equals 1/2. So for this one, it's a little different because these are written as ratios. So in order to get this to a equation that we can solve, we're going to do what we would do for a ratio. So we put 3/8, 27/x, and then we're going to solve it the same way we would solve a proportion. So 3x is equal to 8 times 27. So we get 3x is equal to 216. If we divide both sides by 3, we get x is equal to 72. So this one is a normal proportion. We're going to cross multiply. 7x is equal to 3 times 5. 7x is equal to 15. Divide both sides by x, we get 15/7. So that's our lesson on ratio and proportions. Now this is going to help us for our next lesson where we talk about similar triangles and we compare them to one another.